No doubt you've heard some of the completely unexplainable stories about the moon. There are the strange structures that made front-page news of major news publications, but were then dismissed from all media, and even photoshopped out of photos. There are the strange lunar wave videos of recent years which seem to show the moon's image actually jumping as though it were a projected hologram, and you only need to search YouTube to see hundreds of entirely credible videos of strange lights flurries and unidentified flying aircraft departing and landing on the surface of the moon. Yet the U.S. supposedly quit landing on the moon almost 50 years ago in 1973. Was our every scientific question answered? Why are all these credible testimonies ignored or dismissed? Could there be more to that ball in the sky than meets the eye if you research the moon? You might be surprised. Its reference in ancient history, its perfect geometrical symmetry, and even astronaut testimonies all seem to point to only one logical conclusion: that our moon is most likely a hollowed-out structure and an artificial satellite that was intentionally placed into Earth's orbit only a few 100,000 years ago, and that the advanced engineers accomplished this intending not only to influence the Earth's biology, but to oversee and control her inhabitants. Music. The moon seems as natural as the landscape around us, but when you look at all the freakish facts, you'd see what one NASA researcher, Robin Brett, saw. He said it seems easier to explain the non-existence of the moon than it does to explain its existence. So then why is that? For starters, no one can explain why the moon is older than the Earth, and older by millions of years. None of the collision with Earth theories make even a shred of sense. Secondly, if the moon were proportional to the planet it orbits as other natural satellites are, it would only be 30 miles across. Instead, it's not double, not triple, but over 72 times larger at 2,160 miles across. No other known natural satellites are a quarter of the size of the planet that they orbit. Then there are the craters. The varying diameters of the craters reveal impacts of varying size and force. They should have created a variety of depth, but instead the craters all have the same depth, and when astronauts attempted to drill into the craters, they were barely able to penetrate the surface. They also discovered processed metals like brass, mica, and pure titanium, which are not naturally occurring elements. They are created and used for architectural design. Where it really gets strange, though, is when you examine the mathematical and geometrical relationship between the sun, moon, and Earth, which are so freakishly precise they defy all odds of randomness, with nothing like it in any other known planetary system. For example, the sun is exactly 400 times bigger than the moon, and it's almost 400 times the distance away. But that's just the beginning. There are the coincidences around the numbers 3664, the numbers 1, 0, 9, 2, and then the numbers 2, 7, 3. If you calculate the likelihood of this kind of precision in a random creation, the number would be so small it wouldn't fit on the screen. One of the strangest things about the moon is something that we don't even give a second thought, something called tidal log. Frankly, the scientific definition makes it sound very natural. Tidal log is simply that the moon's rotation exactly matches its orbit. In short, this means against all natural laws, the same side of the moon always faces the planet, and we're prevented from ever seeing the back half of our moon, also known as the dark side of the moon. Explore the universe. With very few exceptions, everything spins, including Earth, whose rotations should be throwing the moon into a furious counterspin. Instead, somehow our moon is literally like an all-watching eye that never ceases surveillance of the planet to which it's bound. Another fact: every astronomer knows it's a 1 in a trillion chance that a planet's moon would appear exactly the same size as its sun during an eclipse. And by the way, if you view a full eclipse from space, you'll see this look familiar. Then there's the fact that natural satellites circle their planets around the equator. So why does our moon circle Earth at a tendency of 5 degrees, the exact distance, elevation, elliptical course, and speed that enable it to transform life on Earth by creating tidal flow and seasons? All the benefit to life here for sure, so older, bigger, and lighter in mass than it should